Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ian, I'm Ian the Reader, and today I'm going to be doing my first ever elevator pitch book review in which I have 5 minutes to review a book that I read before I was on booktube. So without further ado, let's get started because I don't have a lot of time. The book I'm going to be talking to you about today is The Shadow of the Gods by Mr. John Gwynne. This is one of my favorite books that I've read this year, and you should totally read it. And here's why. Number one, the characters. In this book, we follow 3 characters primarily. Those are Varg, who's an escaped thrall slash slave who is trying to avenge the death of his sister, but first he has to figure out who the heck killed her. We follow Elvar, who is a woman who is trying to make a path and a way for herself to achieve glory in a war band that she has joined. She's awesome. And third, we follow Orca, who is a woman who has settled down with her husband and son and just wants to be left alone, just wants to avoid the things from her past, but unfortunately, people will not let her do that. These characters are absolutely amazing, and I am so impressed by the way that John Gwynne was able to make me care about them so quickly. It felt like from the very first page that I got to spend with these characters, I cared about them and what was going to happen to them. The chapters alternate between the 3 characters, and the chapters really aren't very long, so I really love that because I'm a big fan of short chapters. And each one's journey is so different from the other that each story felt very unique while also being tied to the others in some small or major ways. These characters are not really good people. They're willing to do horrible things, they're willing to kill people, they're willing to put themselves in harm's way, they're willing to do some shady stuff in order to get the things done that they need to get done, but their motivations are very relatable, and I thought that that was really interesting. Not to mention, all 3 of these characters are really impressive, like not in a oh, all talk kind of way. They really are intimidating people, and I was impressed by the way that John Gwynne used their different capabilities throughout the story to give different perspectives on the things that people can do in this world, whether magical or otherwise. But enough about the characters. Moving on, I really loved the world of this book. That's the second thing I want to talk about. In this world, the gods have fallen. They are no longer around, and people who do choose to worship those gods are social outcasts. There are different kinds of gods like the rat god, the snake god, the dragon god, things like that, and people who are the descendants of these gods have specific abilities. With that, they're often sought after by war bands or by slave owners and slave traders because of the fact that their abilities are highly sought after. I thought that the whole world building in this was so well done. The author does such a fantastic job of painting a picture of this society and this culture and the way that it has fallen in a lot of ways in a very short amount of time. I feel like I have a really firm understanding of what's going on in this culture, while at the same time still having a lot of questions and wanting to know more as the series progresses. The third thing that I was truly impressed by in this book was the pacing. From the first chapter, we get a sense that no one is safe, that things are going to get bloody, and it is going to be awesome. This book is non-stop from page 1. I was so impressed by the things he did in each storyline, where it was one of those things that as a chapter ended, I was upset that I didn't get to spend more time with the character I was in, but at the same time, I was so excited for the next character's perspective. In addition to that, the action in this is so well done. John Gwynne is a master at writing action and battle sequences and really building tension in a fight to make you really be worried about the characters that are in the scene, because honestly, anything can happen in these books. The twists in this book, by the way, are insane. That's one thing that I'm not a big fan of sometimes in fantasy series and fantasy books, is that they follow kind of a predictable path. They follow the classic hero's journey, and you can kind of see where things are headed, and ultimately they head in the direction you expect. That is not the case with The Shadow of the Gods. So to recap my thoughts a little bit, I think The Shadow of the Gods is a near perfect start to this trilogy. I'm so excited to see where it goes next, and I am so impressed by John Gwynne's writing abilities. This was the first book that I read by John Gwynne, and honestly, I think it's an amazing starting point. If you've never read John Gwynne, I think The Shadow of the Gods is the perfect book to read, because while he has his other book series that he's really well known for that starts with the book Malice, with The Shadow of the Gods, I feel like this world is really easily accessible. There aren't nearly as many characters or perspectives that you follow in this, and I feel like it's really easy to get into, and it is so compelling. I think this book is absolutely amazing. If you're into fantasy and you're looking for a book that is going to be non-stop fun, edge of your seat thrills, and have so much blood and gore and craziness, this book is totally worth picking up. I highly recommend The Shadow of the Gods. But that is it for my review of The Shadow of the Gods by Mr. John Gwynne. I'm glad I could get my thoughts out there. Despite the fact that I read this book months ago, I really love talking about fantasy books, and I want to know what you guys thought of The Shadow of the Gods if you've read it, or if you're planning on picking it up. Leave a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I post videos every Tuesdays and Friday, and I'm having a good time with this. I hope you guys are too. Don't be a stranger, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!